Weight off my shoulders. Yay!
Hello to anyone who decides to watch this when it gets up onto YouTube. We are back with another and final one-shot story of what is happening to our characters during the break. Are we ready to get started?
Yes.
Open my notebook. Chang'e. A couple of months after you and the group met on the road, saved Alden Gravewind the Raptor from his captives, the political landscape has completely changed, with the council reformed to include the fur-covered creatures, as you know them to be.
Yes.
And Zinzi's off forming a guard of her own.
Great for her. I'm so proud.
Your friends have all started to drift off into different tasks as they've been at a standstill with anything needed for them by the council. And you quickly came to the realization that you're going to be stuck here for a while. And so you packed, gathered what you could, said goodbye to your friends, and set off on the road to explore this new found land that you found yourself in. After a month, you learned of an organization known as the Tenders and decided to spend some time with them. You've made your way to Masenge, which is their base of operation, a tree-shaped temple surrounded by giant stone monoliths. And here you've come to learn much, mostly from a Summer Blossom Farzan, who is an older sparrow-like Luma, who works as what is known as a heart braider. They act as mediators between the people and nature around them.
That's cool. Oh my goodness.
You've had access to their libraries. You have been traveling with Farzan and some of the other seedlings, as they're called, or saplings, depending on what level they are, within the Tenders. Doing community support, heading, on the outer edges of the Scorched Grove. And after a while, you were actually given the opportunity and asked by Summer Blossom Farzan if you were interested in joining the Tenders and starting out. Is that something you would have been interested in?
Mm-hmm. I would have asked many details, mostly including how much time would be invested and if I could ever leave and catch up with my found folks, my friends. But I would ultimately join and be quite eager to.
Farzan, who is, like I said, he's a Luma, he's a sparrow. He's a much older gentleman, which for Lumas, you've learned means that he's probably closer to 55, 60. They only live to be about 70 years old. And he explains to you that your main task is just to learn more about the great rhythm and the delicate balance that nature holds here. And our job as Tenders is to keep the Scorched Grove at bay and maintain that balance as long as possible. Your travels with your friends would only expand your knowledge and would be encouraged amongst our ranks.
That sounds like quite a nice deal. All right, then. Well, when is the next time that we may go out and investigate the rhythm of nature, as you call it?
It is known as the Great Rhythm.
The Great Rhythm. Okay. Is there like a lesser rhythm, like a not as good rhythm?
Well, let me see, because there's actually like a description for the Great Rhythm, which is what they research.
Huh.
So the tenders themselves believe that everything in the world around them rides on a balance.
Mm.
And the rhythm is the flow and the pull and flow of different energies in the world. And as you know, if the great rhythm becomes out of balance, calamity will occur. The last time this happened is the first initial creation of the scorched grove. And they believe that if it should continue to expand in a massive way, the rhythm will try to make up for that by obliterating and starting fresh.
I see. Okay.
When the flames of the great calamity forged the scorched grove, the tenders took it upon themselves to restore the corrupted earth. They were originally created hundreds and hundreds of years ago, longer even, as different wise bird folk sages bonded with the treants, who were the stewards of the grove, of the wood, of the groves of the wood. The treants taught the sage about the forest, the creatures they shared it with, and how they all how they all are cradled within the great rhythm's embrace. The sage used their teachings to found the tenders, an order sworn to uphold the balance of nature. Although the sage's name is lost to history, the tenders persist to this day. The treants it is told in the many myths, which you've actually seen on those monoliths outside of the temple, is all written along on them in multiple languages. The treants were on the ground floor of the initial surge of the scorched grove, and they, as far as anyone knows, in their attempts to hold it at bay and to bring it back to the stalemate it sits at now, were wiped out completely. And the tenders now stand in their place, trying to bring order and maintain this balance in Everden, in the Humblewood.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that you're taught over the time period as you are traveling.
Right.
You are also given, as you've decided to join the tenders, you are taught that the great rhythm exists in a delicate balance. If this natural balance is ever broken, the rhythm will eventually correct itself, but the ensuing chaos will cost many lives and irrevocably alter or damage many ecosystems. According to the tenders, survival of the fittest is an inhumane doctrine, and it's far better if harmony can be maintained for the collective benefit of everyone. The tenders are short in numbers, which is why they're happy to bring anyone into their ranks. You are granted with an amulet, which I will send you a picture of.
Ooh.
As a member of the tenders, you get an amulet that looks like this. This is not a magical amulet. It's not going to replace that necklace spot that you have. It's your symbol that shows that you are a member of the tenders.
Hey, yo. Hey,
And
yo.
you begin as a seedling.
A seedling.
A seedling is where you gain knowledge. You're taught a ritual that allows you to commune with nature and befriend a minor forest spirit. So you can befriend and speak with little dandelion wisps and such.
Oh, the word.
And you are asked frequently by the summer blossom. Summer blossom is one of the many ranking layers. A summer blossom has been a sapling before and has shown valor for the sake of others, and their job is to pass on their knowledge, and they work as basically the trainers for the newfound members of the tenders. Farzan asks you almost every night one of what's called the first riddles. And he often will ask you, which came first, morning or twilight?
Um, trick question?
It is one of the many questions that we ask ourselves on a regular basis.
Is one of the other thing? Is this like, is it a, I don't know, Twilight?
Why do you believe twilight would be first?
Well, darkness is a natural state. There's always shadow, which is only quelled by light. So when there is no light, there is twilight. Interesting. Is there a wrong answer? Is that the wrong answer? Is there a right answer?
There is only the answer known best to you. He asks you many of these questions throughout the months that you have known him. And he never quite gives you a straight answer as to whether or not you're correct. But he teaches you different elements of nature.
Oh my God, I get so tedious with that. I'm like, which is the right answer? Am I doing good? Am I doing bad? Just tell me.
It's his energy is different than what you would probably have normally expected. He is a druid. He is very Taoist, honestly, is the best way to explain it. He goes with it. He's nurturing to nature. He is kind to people. He is happy to connect with individuals. And you are given the rank of seedling, which is the basic rank amongst the tenders. You travel with him to multiple places. You find yourself at a tavern in different towns, able to interact with all sorts of people. At one of the taverns in a town of called Ariam, as you are surrounded by other seedlings and a couple sproutlings, which is one level above.
Darn. I'm a baby here.
Yeah, you baby. You eventually make a perception check, actually.
Okay. I better like snatch this perception check. Okay. 13.
13? You're used to people staring at you and noticing you. You're unusual in this land. A moth humanoid is bizarre.
Yeah.
You do notice that over at the bar there is a dressed for travel Corvum, not old by any means, but in the later, he's middle-aged, who every now and then just seems fascinated by you as he's drinking his drink over at the bar.
I'll notice him and like kind of look a little bit, and then I'll finally approach and I'll go, "Excuse me, I don't know you, do I?"
No, I don't believe we've ever met.
Okay.
I'm just very shocked. Where are my manners? Perry Bitterbloom. I had to check my notes to see. Very nice to meet you. And he holds out a hand.
Perry Bitter bloom. All right. And then she'll take her two hands and give him like a double handshake.
Oh, that is rather lovely, isn't it? You must understand. I am a historian, a archaeologist.
An archaeologist. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
every
Am
now
I
and then I find different ruins of cultures long past where we've seen more humanoids of a bug-like nature, but I never thought I would see someone like yourself.
hang on a moment. You have documentation of bug species.
Well, documentation is probably a strong word, but I found different relics, artifacts of old times.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's so wonderful. Me and my family have been trying to preserve our family's history for years. We've kept everything that we could that we could survive. Pottery, scrolls. We even carry on our traditional fashion and old artwork. So
I must say, I've never seen anyone that looked quite like yourself in the many items that I have found. Where exactly are you from?
well, didn't I give it a name? I gave it a name. Did we give it a name? I'm from a far away country. I'm not even.
I think we did.
I
You know that it's to the west of the Scorched Grove,
right.
on the other side of the Cragmore Mountains.
Cragmore Mountains. That's it. Okay. It's rather far away, long past the Scorched Grove. I wouldn't suspect that you would know where it is. Nobody knows where it is.
There's no name on this.
That's okay.
For old messages. I'm sure it's in my notes somewhere. I just have too many notebooks.
You know what? We'll give it a name. We'll give it a name right now. We'll give it a name right at this moment. What
sounds good to me?
Study of bugs. Entomology. Entomol. I'm from Entomol.
I love it.
Boom. Simple, plain. Oh, they gave me really cute photos of bugs when I looked that up. Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah, entomology is interesting to say the least.
Yeah. Okay, yes. It's a far away west of all this, past the Scorching Grove. I wouldn't suspect that you know it.
Past the Scorched Grove, you say? How bizarre.
Exactly. And what's even worse is I didn't even want to be here.
Oh, how exactly did you come to be here then?
I was kidnapped.
Strange.
Very much so.
I'm so sorry. That must have been horrible for you.
It was. And then I show up here and there's all of these flesh and feathered and furred beings, most of whom I can't tell the difference of. So
not something you're used to seeing then. Is your homeland not full of...
Not that I would know. My family and I mostly keep in our home. Since we are living relics, as you could call it, we try to preserve ourselves.
I see. Well, it sounds like you've been through quite a bit in your time.
Quite a bit is an understatement. I'm making my way back, slowly but surely.
Well, good luck on your endeavors.
Thank you. I would just be interested in seeing any relics that you possess. At any given point. I am with a traveling group, but
I tend to travel around myself. I'm not one who stay put for very long. And he starts like rummaging. He goes, actually, I might and he pulls out of his pocket. It looks simply like a piece of citrine, and it's got this interesting sort of brass filigree on either side of it, and it looks like some sort of pin. He goes, here, and he puts it in your hands. He goes, I found this diving through some old caverns long time ago, and well, it certainly is a relic from older time.
Does it look like anything familiar to me?
Make a history check.
History check. Oh, it's on now. Period. Oh, please. Oh, I'm bad at math. What is 13 plus 7?
20.
That would be a 20. I'm not as bad as math as I thought.
While it is a very different style than you're used to, it looks like it is probably older than some of the heirlooms in your home. But you can see some of the styling is a little bit there, if not cruder.
This is fascinating. It's
make an Arcana check as well.
Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Oh. That's a 14 plus 7, so 21.
This definitely gives off a magical energy as well. I mean, you don't know if this guy has ever realized that. He just handed you a magical item. And he's already kind of gone back to his cups. But he is very much like every now and then, like he's had a notebook out as he was drinking. And every now and then as you're talking, you see him like lightly scribble a little note. And he just closes the book back up. Like he's an archaeologist. He's an anthropologist.
Yeah. I would too. Huh. Well, this is interesting. Is this just for examination or?
You said that you've been looking for things for your family. Take it. Perhaps one day it'll make its way home with you.
I would believe so. This seems far older. Perhaps this is something my grandfather could recognize. Well, you certainly are a historian of experience. Wow.
Oh, why? Thank you.
Truly are. Well then. What a fascinating encounter. It's been so lovely to meet you, Mr. Bitter Bottom?
Bitterbloom, yes. And I'm sorry I did not catch your name.
I'm Chang'e.
It's very nice to meet you, Chang'e. I look forward to hopefully meeting you again someday.
Yes, of course. And that's spelled Cheng', in case you'd like to write that in your notebook.
You see he takes the book and like slowly puts it under the table. It's like, I appreciate that.
Any effort to preserve history is an effort I well appreciate.
I'm glad to hear of it.
And then she'll scuttle away.
Add to your inventory.
Okay.
Look under, when you go into inventory and add item, look in luck charm. This is a homebrew.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Where's the button? No. Add equipment? No.
Yes, add equipment.
Add equipment. Oh, okay.
And then it'll pop up with like a bar and fill it. Just type in luck charm in the search bar.
Oh my gosh. A wondrous item? What are you? Hang on, can I read this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna read it out loud. When attached to an item of clothing, the small citrine stone wrapped in brass wiring slowly adjusts to best fit its wearer's style. What? If pinned to a top, it becomes an elegant brooch. When attached to a belt, a small chain appears and delicately drapes alongside it. The item has 5 charges working like the luck feat, allowing the user to re-roll once per charge. Wow. Charges reset 1d4 per sunrise. If the final charge is used, roll a d20. On a 1, the item cracks and is no longer usable. No. Okay.
But that means that you can, so it works for ability checks, it rolls for attack rolls. I know that sometimes you have a hard time with rolls. This item gives you a chance 5 times a day. You can re-roll without having to use it itself. So every time you roll, you use 1 charge. If you do use all 5 charges in one day, there's a small chance that it'll fracture and no longer be usable. Or you can use 4 charges a day and it at the next day you just roll a d4 and that's how many charges you get back.
Okay.
So you might get all 4 back or you might get 2 back.
Okay. But if I roll a nat 1, then it's kaput.
Only if you use all 5 charges.
Okay.
So if you've used all 5 charges, there's no charges left, then we roll a d20. And if it's a 1, then it cracks.
I see.
So it's kind of like the wand of magic missiles has 7 charges. And if you use the final charge, there's a chance that it'll break.
Okay. Okay. And it's fashionable. Hey, yo. Oh, that's so cute. I love that. Okay. She's gonna like not really thinking about it, kind of put it in like the tie of like her waist area and kind of tuck it in. And then it can either be like a scarf or like a little charm.
Yeah, so basically it becomes a little charm into your sash. I'm used to like Japanese style wear, so my mind immediately says obi, but I know that's not correct. But when you put it into the sash, it kind of fits to form more of your style, and the small chain hangs down from it and wraps back under the sash as well to add like cute. A little extra style.
Oh, cute. She'll go do that and be like, oh.
And you can feel it it's almost like you have a little bit of extra fate, I guess. I
love that description.
You're able to manipulate fate a little bit more in those moments of luck.
Oh, that's gonna be very useful.
It's gonna be very useful.
I will use it wisely and sparingly, just in a moment where we need a pinch of luck. Oh my god, that's so cute. Okay, so hang on. It's Farzan is the
Farzan.
Okay.
Farzan.
I was almost correct. I just added a A. Okay. I'm gonna go like, oh my god. I'm like rush off to be like, look.
Yes, we seem to be quite excited. Oh my, that is an interesting accessory that you have there.
It's magical.
Oh, well, where did you acquire such an item here? This is a bar. You can see some of the other like seedlings are like
my god. I just love that line. Where did you acquire this? This is a bar. So she'll go, oh, hello? Mother. Hi, mother.
Hello.
Oh, yay. Thank you. Thank you. Can I show my passport? I mean, I'm recording.
Oh, well, cover the number up at the top.
Okay, I'll just do a I got my passport renewed.
Nice.
Yay!
Very
Now
nice.
I look
I
like
have
an
to do that.
adult. Oh yeah. Now I look
I
like
really
an
have to do
adult
that.
on my passport. Thank you. I appreciate it. A D&D session wouldn't be the same without a visit from Den Mom.
Exactly.
Okay. So she'll be talking and then anyways, I got it from this lovely gentleman who's a historian. Bitter Bloom was his last name. It was just a lovely last name. He's this older gentleman, black feathers.
Do you look back to point him out?
Probably like going back and forth, like not really looking, but like gesturing towards the area.
So you're not, as you're pointing in that direction, Farzan is just like, who? You turn around and he's not there.
Oh, that cheat. Give him all. We have this lovely moment. He was old, might have gone off for a nap. Anyways, lovely fellow. He gave me this, and it's magical. And it didn't look like this before, but it became this because I have class.
I see.
And then
he says that very like, it is what it is, but also, this is weird on his face.
she totally like does not mind it. She's like, this is awesome. I had a connection and magical business. And then she'll go off to get a drink.
All right.
And hang on, you said that the other seedlings were kind of looking at me weird while I was just talking about this.
There's confusion, but also the first thing that he said was the whole, oh, that's interesting. We're in a tavern. Like they're like, oh, okay. Like they know that this is a strange old man that you guys are traveling with. And they're like, okay, grandpa, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But they still have reverence for him, but also their moments they're like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to clarify. Because like if they were like weirdly looking at her anymore, she'd like totally one track mind.
The most of the other members of the tenders have gotten used to your presence.
Okay.
You would have made a couple of friends.
Oh.
I have a couple names of people that I've already created that you would know.
Cool.
You would, because of your intent to research the area, you would know where is she? A wood sage. Wood sages are, they could be of any rank above seedling. They're just those that specialize in chronicling. And why am I getting a phone call from Applebee's?
It'd be like that. Applebee's.
I work there sometimes.
Okay.
I'll call them back later.
Okay. Without context, I was gonna be like, who gets a phone call from
I work there at
Applebee's?
least once a week, so they're probably asking if I can pick up a shift tonight or tomorrow.
Fair.
But we'll see. I'll call them back.
Okay.
Anyway, wood sages help chronicle information, so you would know them pretty well. There is a young, like still spotted servant doe named Quinta, who you would know,
How do you
who's
spell
a wizard.
that?
Quinta, Quinta.
Oh, that's so cute.
She's very sweet. She is a book nerd, and she helps run some of the information and kind of like do the front desk stuff at Mossenge. You would know her, and you would also know of a sapling, which is I've got so many different things pulled up right now. So it goes seedling, sproutling, and then sapling.
Okay.
Dang,
I'm a baby.
And you can either be a sapling or you can be a flame warden.
Ooh.
Flame wardens are very, very specific. They are sproutlings that have taken what's known as the Oath of Flame and decide to dedicate their life to the Scorched Grove and basically live there and come back rarely. And then you have the saplings that have the ability to cast Cure Wounds or are proficient in medical. Those are the ones who apply their knowledge to practical service of natural balance. Above that, you have Summer Blossom, which is what your Farzan is.
Right.
There's also an Autumnal, who is about the same level as a Summer Blossom, but they specialize in they utilize their vast knowledge for the good of Everden. They are on equal footing with Summer Blossoms, but they have committed themselves to practical matters. So they're more into lore. They are in charge of keeping dangerous objects safe. And then the leader of the tenders is known as the Tree Keeper.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a high rank.
Naturally.
And there's only one member of the branch awarded that position at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. Lots of fun little lore in the tenders. I like them a lot.
Period. I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there will be, because you decided to become a tender, there are a couple of feats that are Humblewood specific that are tender specific.
Hey, yo!
Like Plant Mender will be something that you will have the option of taking if you'd like. The other one is Forge Sage, which you would have to be a druid or a wizard. So unless you want to take a level in one of those, that one's not accessible. Okay. But if you wanted, you can do Plant Mender. Just throwing it out there.
Hey, yo! All right. I'm down for that. Okay. So I know of Lo Quinta. Love Lo Quinta.
Yeah,
okay.
She is Wood Sage Quinta.
Wood Sage Quinta. Okay.
Yeah, her role is a Wood Sage, and her name is Quinta.
Okay.
You also know of a sapling named Tevor. He is a pigeon-like Luma. He's kind of shy and withdrawn. But you've met him many times. He is an interesting character. He's just a shy, quiet guy. He kind of sits in the corner, but you're aware of him.
Okay.
So you've made a few friends in this group as well.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not like my party buddies, but they're my.
But you got some buddies.
I got some buddies. Okay. Yeah. So I will enjoy my drink at the tavern, and if my buddies are there, I might talk to them a little bit.
Oh yeah. Tevor is in this group. Wood Sage Quinta doesn't really leave Mossenge much, which is the main temple. And Tevor comes and goes from this group But he's around at this point, and he's just quiet, very quietly, like sipping his drink, like, don't look at me.
Okay.
to most everyone in the bar, he's just like, okay.
She's gonna disturb his peace just a little bit, and she'll go, Taylor!
Ah!
Look!
Oh, that's quite fascinating,
isn't it?
Where did you, is this what you acquired somewhere in the bar? And like starts like looking behind.
Oh, don't worry. He's gone. He was like a magical man, and he was there 1 minute and then not the next. So this lovely old man.
Concerning.
It's fine. So this lovely old man was so interested. Apparently, he had studied a bit or had some relics of my species.
Really?
Yes, which I thought was a little bit suspicious at first, but then we got to talking, and I really, he was just a lovely old person, and he gave me this citrine like pouch with a little with it was a thing, but then I tucked it into my belt, and then it became this cool little accessory. And it's magical. Like I feel magic.
That's quite fascinating.
Yes.
He has. Why would I be on the schedule today? Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pause this real quick.
Yeah.
For anyone who is watching, we'll be back. Sorry to anyone who is just like weird break as Sarah stares at her phone and then goes, we're going to pause this. And then suddenly pulls it back. Just needed to find out why my job was calling me. And I found out. And now we're going to move back into the story. Where were we? You were at the bar and you were talking to Tabor.
Yes. And I showed him my new little magical item.
And I was going to look up. Nope, I didn't know if he had any sort of wizard spells that might identify, but he does not.
That's okay. That's all right. Well, I'm not sure what it does yet, but I'm going to figure it out. And whenever I do, I'm sure that it will be useful for everyone.
We can hope.
We sure can.
He goes right back into his cup.
She'll kind of go.
A very shy bean.
Okay. And then slink over and then like antenna his drink and be like, what you got there?
It is a hot toddy.
Toddy. Nice. And then she'll leave.
After 10 months have passed and you have been with this group, you have gotten very accustomed to being with the tenders and have seen much of Everden and the Humblewood in general. You have seen most of it with Farzan and the other seedlings, learning life lessons, meeting new people. Right now, you find yourself deep within the Scorched Grove. With Farzan and Tabor, there have been rumors of increased fire activity within the Scorched Grove. And you three have been asked to investigate and figure out what is going on.
Okay.
You guys have been out for a couple of days and currently are waking up from your local camp before heading out further into the grove. You have seen the remnants of old towns. You have seen destruction. Some areas starting to try and come back and obliterated quickly. You've met a couple other some of the flame wardens who spend their time out here. And you've faced ember bats and other elementals as you come through, but nothing to the extent that has people nervous.
Okay. So I've visited the Scorched Grove before.
You've come to the edge of it, now you're within it.
Okay. Okay, so the tension is on.
Yeah. Farzan still has his very everything is fine sort of mentality. Tavor is just kind of, this is happening. He's been there before, as he is of a higher rank than you are, but also not the strongest. AKA, I didn't bump any stats higher for him than they would normally have been. I'm sticking with his original block, and this is a campaign that only goes up to level 5.
Oh,
so he is baby.
He is baby. Okay, he might be a higher rank than me, but he is the baby.
He is a baby.
I'm gonna hold that over his head forever.
And now I got an email from Etsy saying that my birthday gift has arrived.
Period.
My parents gave me money for my birthday that I used to get Pride plugs.
Oh, fun.
So I have 2 sets. I have the bisexual and I have the asexual because it looks better than the demisexual, and I kind of fit between those 2 categories very easily.
Fair.
So
Fair.
I'm gonna have my plugs.
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like any flag that has purple in it is just designed really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I saw a TikTok earlier today about like people who are technically pan but identify as bi, and like everybody can agree that the bi flag is gorgeous, and then they move on in the conversation.
I flip between the 2 because I follow the original definition with bisexual, which is that you are attracted to those who are of the same or other gender than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Pan just changed it to regardless of gender.
Right.
And that is also true for me because I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't. But I've known the term bisexual longer because I'm 32 years old, and it's a much older term.
Yeah.
So that one has just been more comfortable for me, but yeah. I've used both terms interchangeably personally.
Makes sense. Hang on, I think you'll be able to appreciate this.
Oh my god, I love him.
He's a little frog.
I love it.
He's a little frog. Me and my friend painted pottery a long time ago, and then we hung out multiple times, and like this takes time to like solidify the paint and all that. So she kept forgetting to give me my frog until like a year later on my birthday. She gave me my frog, even though I paid for it. So she gave me like a 20 with it. She was like, "Here's your frog." And I'm like, "Thank you." So I have my frog. But
awesome.
Yay! Presents!
Presents in Pride Month. Yay!
Period! Okay. I'm like nervous. I'm nervous to be in this space today, in the Scorched Grove.
It is a completely different sight than what you're used to in the Humblewood, which is lush, gorgeous, vibrant. It's been 10 months, and so it's right now probably closer to midsummer, as when we left off it was like fall. So you've seen the seasons go through Everden, and you've watched, you've seen the different foliage. You've gone as far as Salter's Port, which is on the coast on the east.
Oh,
you've seen the different aspects of this blooming, lush landscape, and here it's just desolate. Their trees are charred and cracked. The buildings that existed at some point are just ash and broken stone. You can see where towns used to be that no longer exist. Some of them as recent as the town of Ashbarrow, which was the one that had initially burned down, which set off the adventure in the first place. So that one has been burned down less than a year. And some so old that there's no longer names for these towns. And even at night, in the peace of the night, you can see the illumination of flames in the distance from creatures and fires as this place catches in random points.
jeez. Okay. I'll be extra careful. I'm gonna wear a shorter skirt today and like keep my wings like up and out so that the tails don't drag along the floor in case a fire starts. I don't want my wings to go. That would not be great.
Every now and then you guys stop, and Farzan and Tavor use their abilities, mostly Farzan, to try and bring some life back into these areas and bring some grasses and some roots back to life. And there are patches where you can see that the tenders have been trying to bring back, but there's still a lot of ash here.
Jeez.
But you are on the third day and getting ready to pack up camp and head out for the afternoon on your quest, continuing to track down the source of these rumors.
Okay. As we're like packing and stuff, Emerald, I'll get Emerald to dig up a little bit of the ground and like pocket it somewhere in their little mechanical body as like a little sample that I want to look at later.
Sure. Make a nature check.
Okay.
It's your
Is this
modifier.
nature?
We don't need to make one for, nature.
I mean, can you call this nature? It's a land of ash.
It's falling apart, but it is still nature.
Okay. Okay. 8 plus 4 is 12.
Yes, it is.
Yay!
It's sufficient. It's sufficient. He's able to, Emerald is able to scoop up some of the soot and dirt and get a decent enough sample of the general area.
Okay, cool. Just a little something. And then they'll probably hide back in my hair floof. And we'll go about our day.
All right. You guys travel. It is hot. You can still see the swarms in the distance of different ember bats, which are literally just, they look like bats made of flame. All around. Other elementals, insects that are also charred.
Oh.
Walking around in the distance. And make me, how is your survival skill?
That's a good question. Let's check it out. It's a +3.
+3? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Make 3 survival checks as you're traveling.
Okay. Oh, that's 5 first one.
You do have that Tool if you want to use some of the luck. You do have 5 charges.
I do. We'll try it. We'll do this one.
All right, re-roll
trying it out.
Re-roll your first survival check.
Okay. That's a 19 on the die. And then
22.
Yeah. Okay. Now we'll just keep that.
Just mark that down that you used one of the charges.
Okay. Yeah, I'll write it down.
Or keep mind of it.
Mm-hmm. 1 luck charge. Okay, that was a 16 on the die for that next roll. So 19. And not 1.
Okay, but you did mostly succeed. Roll 1 more survival check. Just 1 more.
Okay.
To even it out.
Because
technically a natural 1 is 2 failures. So.
Okay. 12 on the die.
Okay. All right. You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay. I tore my dress or something and it was really bad.
Well, it's for a while you think that you've lost track of whatever destruction that you have been following. And it's every now and then you can see long trails of just ash where something has come through and anything in its path just burned away. And you think that you're just, for a while, you're just like, where did it go? Where did it go? What happened? And then it's back.
Okay.
And you are led to another one of these older towns where there's just nothing left. You can feel that there was cobblestone as that's under your feet, underneath the ash, and the light bit of grass trying to grow back through. And you find it looks like a giant mound in the middle, but more like a burrow. There's a giant hole in the ground. Make a perception check.
No. Ew. I'm big uncomfy. If a firebug comes out and wants to kill me, I'm gonna be so upset with the firebug. Okay. 18.
As you're looking through, it almost looks like a tunnel. And then you start to hear this grinding behind you. But grinding is not quite the right word. It's something is moving across the ground behind you. Slithering. Flames licking amongst that slithering sound.
Everyone, we should hide or leave.
And then you hear another set of that sound similar on the other side of the hole. And you look up and you can see a giant inflamed, or not even giant. This one's it's just a large, as in bigger than it should be, bigger than you. Snake.
Is it on fire?
Yes, it is.
Oh no.
And you know that sound behind you was another one.
Devor, hold on to your flank feathers.
Roll initiative.
I'm not ready. I'm so young. Oh, that's an 18 plus 3. So 22, no, 21.
21. Okay.
Yeah, hang on. 18, 19, 20, 21. 21, yeah.
Paper rolled so well.
Oh no, poor buddy.
He's trying with his natural one. Yeah, you're gonna end up going first.
Okay.
Let me write down my initiative.
Yeah. Also, I'm like
And
very,
let me, for
very
the
close
sake
to.
of
Sorry.
the viewers and for your sake, we are on Astral with this.
Aha! Hey yo!
And let me put your character. Sure, you would have been back next to. Well, you can tell me. Is that about where'd your character been up inspecting the hole like Farzan is, or
probably a little closer to the hole? Like,
okay,
yeah.
All right.
I'm so close to calling Tevor Trevor.
I know, right? It's been throwing me off. He's from the actual book, and I'm like, Trevor? No. Tavor? Okay.
Maybe we'll just call him Trevor to make fun of him. Okay. Oh, this is not fun. I'm not excited to be fighting fire snakes. I mean, I'm excited, but also not excited. I love it, but I hate it.
And let me just write down some hit points. All right. Chang'e, you are up first.
Okay. So I'll. Oh Lord, what can I do? What do we got? What do we got, Chang'e? I got a couple weapons. Yeah, I got. Yeah, we'll just pull out my Eldritch Cannon flamethrower and we'll use that on the we'll do the one behind us because I did notice him first.
All of those squares are pillars that offer a little bit of cover, but it's a snake, so it's not like it's going to be full cover. It just means that you're probably going to get like the back of his tail instead of its head.
That's okay. Maybe, yeah, if I can piss him off a little bit.
But that also means that you can use them as cover as well.
Ah, you're so smart. Okay. So I'm a roll for my Eldritch Flamethrower with a 15 feet range. Not that. Wait. No, hang on. No, that's going to be stupid. This is a flamethrower. The snake is made of fire.
So the Eldritch Cannon has a couple different settings, but you can only use one at a time. It's been 10 months. Would you say in that time Chang'e has decided that fire is not effective and should switch it to one of the other forms?
Yeah. She's probably tried out one of the other forms. Do we do Force Ballista or Protector? These guys are fire. What would she value more? I'll do Force Ballista. Yeah, hang on.
All right, because the magical cannon. It's a small Eldritch cannon. So it could have been a flamethrower, a force ballista, or a protector. So you would have disassembled and reassembled it to what you wanted.
Right. Hang on. Do I have to like go into my character sheet to change it? Because I have the instant stats for the flamethrower. I can see force ballista.
Let me see real quick. I'm going to pull up your character sheet and see, because I think that you can do it under the regular sheet, yeah, but I think it's under inventory.
Okay.
Nope, not under inventory. Create Eldritch Cannon. It should show up as Force Ballista.
I mean, I can see Force Ballista. It's just when I go to actions, it shows me attack flamethrower specifically.
Because that's the only one that's an attack. If you go under bonus action, because that's where it is as a Force Ballista, bonus action, you scroll down and there's Force Ballista, and then you just take away one of the charges each time you use it.
Okay. Cool.
Or I guess that's hit points for it. Never mind. Yeah. So people can attack your cannon itself, and then it will lose hit points.
Great.
And if that disappears, then you have other weapons, right?
Yeah, I do. Just like the Eldritch Cannon. It's nice. Okay, sorry.
No worries. That's why we're here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. So it's
all right. So I think you have to take do you have to take an action to set up your Eldritch Cannon, or is it? Because I think it's freestanding.
Thought so. It's tiny. Or it can be tiny. I think I can. Yeah, oh no. I do take an action to create it. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'll just create it, and then I think an actual attack counts as a bonus action.
So okay. So then you can use your action to take it, and then use your bonus action to attack the fire snake.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. And I think I just roll and see if it beats the AC for this one. Four doesn't hit, does it?
What?
4 does not hit, does it?
4 does not hit. Is there any bonus to the Eldritch Cannon, or?
Something about ranged spell attacks
What's your spell attack modifier? It should be next to DC. Your save DC.
I know where things are. Yes, I do. I know where this
when
is.
you click the spells button, it says that your spell attack is a +7. So when you click the spells button at the top, it says +4 modifier, +7 spell attack, save 15.
That's it.
So add 7 to your 4.
Oh, Eldritch Cannon counts for that?
It's still a spell attack, even if it's from your cannon.
Okay. So then 11.
That would be 11. 11 does miss.
Yeah.
But now we know there's a modifier.
Now we do.
Are you staying there?
Probably. Yeah. I'm gonna gauge and see what these fire snakes are thinking.
Oh, all right. In that case, it is Farzan's turn.
Farzan! Get it, Farzan!
Farzan is a higher level than Tabor, thankfully. He looks around and sees what's happening, and he is going to cast Thunder Wave. Is he going to cast Thunder Wave? He's going to step forward and right there and cast Thunder Wave. So he runs there, and then you watch as he stomps on the ground in a burst of a wave that ripples out in front of him. The way I run, for those who are at home, Thunder Wave can either be a cube directly around yourself, or you can send it forward. It's much more earthbendery because I think that's cool. And the snake is going to have to make a Constitution saving throw.
Aha! Oh, I have detect magic. You know what? I'll just say that Chang'e used detect magic on her new little charm.
We can say that she did that. It was magical. It's all detect magic does. It tells you it's magical.
She knows it's magical.
All right. It does succeed in its saving throw, but it takes half the damage.
Darn.
So this snake hisses out as you watch the ground erupt around, and it gets pelted with Lorax.
Haha.
It is now that snake's turn. That snake is going to come up. It's going to 5, 10. Yeah, speed of 30. 15, 20. It's going to come around there and make a bite attack at Farzan. Which I'm sure misses. Yep, that one misses. And then it's going to whip around with a tail attack at Tabor.
Oh no, Trevor.
That's going to hit.
No!
Luckily, that's low.
Okay.
So he takes 2 points of bludgeoning damage, and that's not low. How bad is this for him? This is pretty bad.
God. No.
6 points of fire damage.
Oh.
He's hurt, but he's not bleeding out.
Oh Lord.
It whips out with its tail and smacks Tabor hard, and you see that some of his robes have started to catch fire, and he's able to put it out, but his feathers are quite singed.
Oh no, little pigeon boy.
All right. Second ash snake is going to use its movement. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And is only gotten into range of Tabor. So I guess he's going to bite him.
Ah.
That's going to hit. Yeah, it's going to hit. Awesome. Poor Tabor.
Oh, no,
Takes an
Tabor.
additional 5 points damage.
No.
Tabor is not looking very good.
Tabor.
He is not looking great.
Oh God.
It bites out onto his shoulder and rips its teeth away, and you can see the gouges, and there's immediately cauterized because this thing is so hot. And Tabor looks scared.
Naturally, I'm scared too, Tabor.
Tabor, it's now his turn.
Oh,
you
no.
also make a perception check.
Okay. Oh, 19 plus 3, 22.
22?
22, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah.
You almost think you can hear something in the hole.
No.
Just no.
No. No.
All right, it's Tabor's turn. Tabor is not looking so good. He is going to he has a spear, and he's going to make a spear attack at the snake 2 that just bit the shit out of him.
Pigeon Boy's got to stand up for himself.
It's gonna hit barely.
Oh yay! Yeah.
Barely.
Oh.
Poor guy. He got his world rocked real fast.
Little Pigeon Boy gets no breaks.
It's okay. It's okay.
Is it?
It wasn't terrible.
But it wasn't good.
It was okay. All right. So he lashes out with his spear and jabs it, and just like it kind of ducks to the side, and it has a gash along its jaw. They're hardy creatures. I mean, they're not the toughest thing you faced. You face things more, but this is a very squishy child. He's young. He's like in his 20s.
Oh no.
And he's squishy.
Oh no. Little squishy Pigeon Boy.
Top of the round, Chang'e. It is your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna go over to Tabor, and I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds first level. So he gets God. Now I gotta find a. Hang on a minute. You know what? No, I'm gonna click the button. I'm gonna cast. So he gets 5 hit points back.
Okay.
which might not be a lot, but it's better than what he had before.
Well, that's what he had lost on that last attack. So the bite wound seems to stitch itself back a bit better. He's still looking singed, but you know, he's not as rough.
Yeah. Okay. So while I'm here and while the snake is there, I will use my Eldritch Cannon and blast him.
All right. Don't forget to add +7.
Yes.
And which one are you aiming at?
The one next to Tabor.
Okay.
So Fire Snake 2.
Okay.
Hang on. Set. $12.
Misses.
It's fine. It's fine.
Your cannon's trying its best.
You know what? Hang on. I have inspiration.
You have inspiration and you have a luck thing.
And I do. I don't want to like use
you can
the
use
luck
it to,
one.
you can use your inspiration to reroll.
I'm gonna use my inspiration to reroll.
Okay.
Because I want to use the luck charm. Well, these would be the situations that I would use it, but oh, that is even worse. That's a 3 on the die. It was a 5 before.
Okay. My brain shut down. I was like, wait, your math. But no, your math is right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a full hit.
Yeah, it's fine. If it didn't work the second time, it wasn't meant to be.
All right. Is that the end of your turn? Are you going to move anywhere or are you going to stay right there?
I'll stay right there.
Okay. Then it is Farzan's turn. Farzan is going to, because they are now within melee range, which makes things tricky, use his bonus action on his staff to quarterstaff to cast Shillelagh and punch a bitch.
Nice.
All right, which brings it up to a +4.
Period.
Ooh, yeah, that's gonna hit. That's gonna hit. And it takes 9 points of damage.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah, Shillelagh's good. You watch as the quarterstaff that he's been leaning on, he's now holding it kind of like a baseball bat, and it starts to glow with this green light, and he just whacks this thing across the jaw, and it actually kind of like hisses and jolts back from it, and then gets right back in his face. Snake number 1 has just been pimp slapped with a bat, and is going to make another bite attack at Farzan. That's gonna hit. Farzan takes 6 points of damage, 3 piercing and 3 fire. And then it's going to whip him with his tail. That just hits him for 2 bludgeoning and 4 fire. So another 6 points of damage. He's not as squishy, but he's taking damage.
Great. Lovely.
He's a less squishy old man.
A less squishy old man.
Yeah, so that is Snake's one turn. Snake 2 is going to come right here with the both of you. This would put, he's now in melee range, which would put any distant spell attacks at a disadvantage, just so you know. Unless it says that like it's a melee, they have to touch him.
Okay.
And it is going to make its first bite at you.
Yay.
Does a 22 hit?
Oh, yep.
Okay. You take 4 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
As its teeth sink into your shoulder.
Thank you.
And wow, 6 points of fire damage as the heat from its mouth just burns your shoulder.
Thank you.
Before it pulls away.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so that's 10 total.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Actually, for some reason, my hit points were not normalized from the last time I did something. So I'm gonna add some, but it's only the appropriate amount to get me where I should be. Okay. 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 Cool. Thank you, Fire Snake. Really needed that.
I knew you did.
Boo!
And it is now Tabor's turn.
Tabor!
Tabor,
get it, little pigeon boy!
He's trying so hard.
I believe in him.
He is going to make an attack roll with his spear again. At the one that just bit you.
Thank you.
But he is faded, so he can re-roll that. It's not much better. He rolled a 1, then a 2.
Oh God.
This does not hit.
No.
He goes to lunge at it, and it just kind of like pulls its head out of the way.
Tabor.
He tried. He's so sad.
He's a little squishy boy.
Top of the round, Chang'e, it is your turn.
Okay. Since we're in melee range, I am going to there it is. Cast Shocking Grasp.
Okay.
It's a touch spell.
It is.
So hang on. I don't know how many touch spells I've done. Okay, hang on. I need to roll for it. I'm just trying to be cautious of like if any of them are Constitution or Wisdom saves, because you never know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So 14, does that hit?
14 just hits.
Oh! Okay. Perfect. That is 9 points of shocking damage. Yeah.
You rocked its world. It's still up, but you can see it's twitching and it's not doing good.
Yes, I'm gonna use my bonus action I'm an Eldritch Cannon.
Okay.
I still want to make it work. I believe in the Eldritch Cannon.
It does technically have disadvantage because you're using a ranged thing in melee range.
That's, you know what? I believe in fate. We're going to try it. Okay? Okay. First roll was a 9. So we're still using that spell modifier. So 9 plus, God, I hate the number
16.
7. It's so hard to count with.
16. 9
That
plus
one.
7 is 16.
That
All
one.
right, that was your disadvantage roll?
Yes.
All right, that hits.
Yeah. Because the one that I did good on was a 16. So, but I got a 9. So plus a 7. Okay. Yay. So it does 2d8 force damage. I'm gonna make the calculator do 2d8. Seven.
Yeah. It had 3 hit points left on that one.
I did it for you, Tevor.
How would you like to kill this one?
Okay. So once it chomps me, which rude, and I grab it with my little hands and I cast shocking grasp, and then little Emerald goes on top of my head with the Eldritch Cannon, which is like just about their size, and just kablooey.
I love it. I love it. It's as you're holding it, its mouth just kind of in pain, and Emerald just blink right in its mouth, and it just crumbles.
Does it like become like ash?
It's a smoldering heap. There's still a corpse there.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Can I use? No, I can't use my movement if I've used a bonus action.
No, movement is its own thing. Every
Cool.
round, which is since your combat till your next combat, you have movement, attack, bonus action, and reaction. On your turn, you can use your bonus action, your movement, and your action. And on any of the in-between times, you might have the opportunity to use a reaction. Your reaction could be your opportunity attack. It could be there's a feat called Sentinel. If someone tries to leave your range, you can keep them in your range or attempt to keep them in your range. Cool. If someone hits you and you have something called Inflict Wounds, that uses your reaction to do so.
Cool. Okay. I'm gonna move just a little bit and I'll go, hang on, I opened up Astral. So I'm gonna move right next to the snake.
Okay, coming right into melee range.
Yeah.
All right, and as you move away from that hole, that noise that you were hearing is getting louder. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah.
Okay, it is now Farzan's turn. Farzan is going to he's going to reach out to you since you've now entered his melee. He's going to touch you on the shoulder and cast Barkskin.
Oh.
So he just kind of moves there, which keeps him just barely in range because I don't do that corners are out of range. It doesn't make sense.
Fair.
And Barkskin means that your AC cannot be less than 16. regardless of whatever kind of armor you're wearing. So if you had a 14, your AC is now 16.
Cool. It
Whatever
was
your
worse.
AC was before.
It
If
was a
you're
13.
Then your AC is now 16.
Person, my man, my little old man.
All right. And that is a concentration spell. So I just need to keep that in mind. All right. And his bonus action, does he have any? Nope. Actually, nope, because that is a spell. He cannot do both. So he is just going to stay there. That brings us to the snake's turn. And the snake is going to, you just got up in his face. He's going to try and bite you.
Thank you.
10.
Okay.
So that did not work. And then he is going to try and hit Farzan with his tail. That's gonna hit.
Oh no.
Ah! Farzan takes 5 points of bludgeoning damage and 1 point of fire damage. Yeah, he gets clobbered on the back, but it just barely, the flames barely lick on him, so he doesn't get burned too bad.
Okay.
And it just kind of hisses at you all. It's Tavar's turn.
Tavar!
How are you looking hit point wise?
You
lost 10?
Yeah. So I'm fine, honestly.
Okay.
I am very, very good.
He is going to attack with a spear then. Natural 20. For Tavar. Oh man, sorry. Oh.
I'm so happy for him.
That was pretty good. Oh, this thing is barely holding on. He manages to hit it just underneath its jaw, and it's coughing, but it's still technically up.
Okay. Darn.
Yeah. Chang'e, that makes it your turn.
Okay, we're in melee range, right?
You are in melee range. You can hear something behind you, and this snake is still there.
Okay. I'ma just do I'm gonna get my hands on him and I'm gonna do shocking grasp.
Okay.
Hang on. I'm gonna press the button because it gives me a button. 23 to hit.
That's gonna hit.
Yeah. Okay. Now we'll roll. Hello. Hello. Can I press the button, please?
Always the question.
10 shocking damage.
Yeah. This one is gone.
Yeah. Okay, I immediately run to the hole.
Okay, you're running towards the hole?
I'm running towards the hole.
We are still technically in combat.
Okay.
Initiative.
Okay. Then
just so you know.
Then for fun, can I use my Eldritch Cannon bonus action to shoot into the hole?
Make a spell attack roll. You don't know what if you're hitting at anything, so roll it with disadvantage.
Fair. Okay. Can only go downhill from here. Yeah, that went downhill, but that's okay. Roll the 7, So plus 7, 14.
14. You don't know if it's hit anything. It just kind of disappears into the hole.
I'm gonna like sideways turn and just talk to my peeps. I'm just go, I want to leave. Let's go.
Okay. Are you moving back away from the hole then? So you moved the 5 feet towards the hole to do that.
I'm just gonna say I want to leave.
Okay. All right. Farzan was actually going to, he was going to sidle up to it too, but once you said that, just starts to, I believe this makes sense. I'm sure at this point, whatever this is whatever we meant to report on. And then it gets very quiet in the hole.
I'm gonna back away.
Until
oh
boom,
no,
from underneath the ground erupts. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
God.
As out of, where are you, you bastard? I know I made you. There we go. Out of the nothingness.
I'm sorry, what? Why is it?
Yes, actually, he would be there.
Why is it so big?
Because it is a huge monstrosity, which means they're extra big.
No. Well, that was a not natural 20 on my save.
Okay, so you succeed. You manage to avoid being knocked prone. Let's see if the other two do as well.
Tavor. Nope.
Maybe? Nope. Actually, yes. Tabor does not. Tabor is knocked prone. Farzan is okay-ish. He barely stayed standing.
Great.
And now it is going to use its multi-attack. It is going to it's going to reach out its tail. I'm going to roll a d6 to see which one of you three it's going after.
Okay.
It is going for you.
Okay.
It swings its tail out over top of Tabor's fallen body and tries to wrap its tail around you.
Oh no.
That succeeds.
Okay.
That's 19.
Okay.
You take 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh.
And you are considered grappled and restrained, which means you cannot go anywhere until you make a DC to escape. And since you are considered restrained, because its body is fully constricting and wrapping around you, you can feel it starting to crush you as it's squeezing. And this thing is huge. It's got an ashen body. It's another big snake, but this one is much larger than the other ones. And instead of that burning, fiery feeling, this one is cracked, dark ash. with molten, bright, dark, fiery colors at all of its cracks in the scales.
Oh.
As it has now wrapped around your body.
Oh, I don't like it.
Yep. That is its turn. Tavor is going to use his action to get up and looks around and sees that you are grappled, and it's going to try and stab at its tail with his spear. I believe in you, sir. You can do this.
I believe.
I shouldn't have had so much faith. He tries and he just hits it just wrong enough that it's almost like it hits the stone. It just doesn't pierce through. Because he rolled a 2.
Oh!
Plus 4.
Tavor!
He's trying, man. He's trying.
He'll get there one day.
He doesn't have a lot of bonuses.
That's okay.
But he's not going anywhere. Chang'e, you are grappled and restrained. What would you like to do?
Well, I have a couple spells that are touch related. Can I do that?
Yes, it's just a disadvantage. Because
Cool.
it's like your arms are trapped. You have to kind of reach around to be able to actually touch it.
Okay. So I'm going to try to cast Shatter.
Okay.
Which is like a big, loud ringing noise.
All right. And
okay. That was 8 on the die plus 7. There's a knock on my door.
there is. And there is a henna.
Oh, thank you. I have food.
I see that.
Thank you. I love you. Okay. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Does that hit?
15
Mm-hmm.
does hit.
Yes. Let me roll that sweet, sweet damage. That's 16 damage, or thunder damage.
All right. It's still holding strong to you. It is wrapped around you, but you can feel it kind of like twinge at that pain throb that goes through its body. Anything else you'd like to do?
Yeah. What is it too late to try to get out?
It does take an action to try and escape.
Okay. I'll wait till later.
Okay. It is now Farzan's turn. Farzan is going to shillelagh again. He sees you trapped and is also going to just kind of hit on this thing. And that's going to miss. It's not quite strong enough to hit it. He only gets one action. Yeah. So that's about all he can do. Which brings us to the snake's turn. You are grappled in its tail. Farzan next to you trying to batter at its tail. And it reaches its head back like it's going to strike like a snake does, but instead it opens its mouth. and it breathes out this cloud of superheated ash in your area. You are restrained, which means that you automatically fail any dex saves. I need to make a dex save for Farzan. He succeeds, which is good. You take 13 points of fire damage. How are you looking?
Well, let's see. Let's put that in. Hello? Oh, I unlocked the scrolling number of the scrolling function of numbers. That was interesting.
Oh, yes, I've done that by mistake a lot.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not great, but you know, I'm okay. I'm like just under 30. So technically not terrible. Could be worse.
Mm-hmm. As this happens, you are just blasted with this hot ash and it burns. And you look, and Farzan has also been blasted, but managed to avoid most of it. And he just looks at both of you and goes, "You need to leave." It is now Tavor's turn. Tavor is going to use his action to use the help action to help you break your grapple.
Yay!
So you will have advantage when you make your DC to escape, which is an athletics throw or athletics roll.
Cool.
All right. Yep. All right. Which brings us to your turn. Because that's all. Tevor's basically, he's going to take his spear and kind of wedge it between you and the snake, and he's going to try and help pry it open. It is your turn.
Okay. I'm going to try to escape.
All right. You have advantage.
Cool. Okay. Oh my God. This plate of food gives me a disadvantage to throw my dice.
I know the feeling.
We're going to use the online dice since that's now under my chair. Okay, so roll 1. Okay, that's a 15, and roll 2. Okay, you said advantage, right?
Yes.
So that's a 15.
You managed to escape.
Yay!
You managed to pull yourself out of its body. And as you scramble away, Farzan just looks at both of you and goes, "It needs to be reported. Run." All right. You have the rest. So you used your action to pull out of its body. You still have your movement. You still have a bonus action.
Okay. I'll just while I'm here, I will use my bonus action to Eldritch Cannon.
Okay. Are you gonna back up as you do that, or are you gonna? You will take an opportunity attack if you leave its range. However, you have disadvantage on Eldritch Cannon if you remain in its range. I'm just throwing these out to you to decide.
That's right. Okay. I'll move a bit out of the way. I'll be like on my way to run out and sneak a little cannon blast.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll go like I don't know. Is that like a good spot for?
You will not take an opportunity attack there because you're still technically within. You would have to move one more to avoid the disadvantage, but you'll still get the opportunity. There's still a chance that he'll take an opportunity of attack against you.
Okay.
If you stay there, you will not be attacked, but it's also a disadvantage.
I will. Okay, hang on. I'm not 100% that I'll try this. Would it be okay? No, maybe that defeats the purpose. Could you technically roll disadvantage and then use the luck to do another roll? Or does that defeat the purpose?
You can.
Okay. I'm gonna try that.
That is a way that people get around disadvantage all the time.
Okay. Well, I will try that. Just to see. Just to see. Okay. First roll was an 8. Ah, darn. Okay. Okay. Well, that wasn't terrible. 8. That was an 8 on the die. If it's the Etch Cannon, that's +7. Was that a 15? I feel like I counted that earlier.
8 + 7 is 15.
Yeah.
You
Does
hit.
that hit?
Yes.
Okay. Then we're gonna roll for the damage. Okay. It's only 4 damage, but better than nothing.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
All right. And are you doing anything else?
Not officially. I will just be on my way to get out.
Okay. It is now Farzan's turn. Farzan is going to. You feel the bark skin leave you as he casts a 5th level Wrath of Nature. And the ground around the creature and off to the side, 60-foot radius. Any grasses, roots, vines, and rocks seem to pull and crack out of the ground and wrap. And it doesn't ensnare the creature, but it's going to have a very hard time moving. So all of, yep, I know. Do. Is that 60? Probably. I'm just going to guesstimate this because 60 is a huge radius. So it's probably like all of this grows and expands.
Okay.
I'm probably way off on how big that is. It's probably way too big.
That's
Don't
okay.
come at me. I don't care. I'm the DM. I fucking decide.
You can do whatever you want.
Damn straight. Yep. He's called the spirits of nature to rouse against his enemies. So all of the grasses started to like pull at this thing and it's making it hard for it to move. Yeah. And does it take any damage? Yeah, as a bonus action, some of the rocks in the area right around it begin to fling up and just throw at this ashen snake. So it's going to take, it's written so confusingly, 3d8. Eight. Actually go in the tray. Ooh, 16 points of bludgeoning damage as it's being pelted with rocks and debris. All right. It's still standing though. This thing is a beast. You can see why this has been causing problems and why they were curious as to what was causing the destruction.
Yeah.
It is now the ash snake's turn. It does not get its breath back. But it is going to make a bite attack at the one who just attacked it with rocks. It actually has multi-attack, so it's going to try to bite and then constrict. That's not going to hit, is it? Nope. What about the constrict? That's hits. That hits. So it tries to bite, and Farzan manages to pull out of the way. And as he does, it whips its tail around and wraps around him. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. Where did I just put my D8s? I just had them. Oh. Story of my life. All right. That is the end of the ash snake's turn. It has now grabbed and started squeezing the man who has been your mentor for quite a few months now. It is now Tavor's turn.
Tavor, don't mess this up.
Tavor looks like he's ready to run, but he's looking to you. He's terrified.
I'll take like just a half second. Go. You go back to base. Tell them what's happening. I'll stay here and meet you halfway.
All right. Okay. He's going to start moving, and he's going to 5, 10. Technically has an opportunity attack on him, but it's in difficult terrain. No, it misses him completely.
Okay.
Yeah, it rolled a 3 and a 2. I was like, no, it's not going to succeed.
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, and then 5, 10, 15. Oh, wait. 20. Yeah, he can go off the map. 20, 25, 20, 25. Okay, yay! He is off the map.
Yay, Tavor!
Chang'e, it is now your turn.
That it is. Okay. Okay. This might be a risk. I'm gonna try casting poison spray.
You know what? There is one thing he would actually do. Hold on.
Okay,
He would not
great.
have used his. Now that I think about it, oops, that was an accident. He would not have necessarily used his action to move. So he would have only gone 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, because before he would have gone out of your range after you telling him to leave, he would have used his one and only tender healing and cast cure wounds on you at first level because you're sticking around. So you take what is his 5 points of healing. Yeah! Tabor! 5 points of healing from Tabor before he runs away.
I'm so proud of him.
He just is like, please come back. And he keeps going.
Squishy pigeon boy, you did it. Okay.
Now it's your turn.
Yeah.
I apologize. I was like, he would probably try to heal you first because you've taken a beating.
And I appreciate that very much. Okay. I'm gonna cast poison spray, which is a con save.
Okay. I can't read that. That's really not 21.
He's good.
Does he take any damage?
Doesn't look like it, no. Yeah, they must succeed a constitution save or take 1d12 poison damage.
Does it say anything about half damage if they fail?
No.
Okay. Oh, it's a cantrip?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are you going to do anything else?
If I were to do Eldritch Cannon, would that be disadvantage?
Yeah, you're still in melee range unless you move.
Okay. Can I move a little bit?
You can move. You risk an opportunity attack, but you can move.
Okay. I'm gonna try to move a little bit.
All right.
How's that?
Let's see. 10. Because it's holding something, I'm giving him a disadvantage on his opportunity attacks. If he was not holding Farzan, that would not be the case. But because of that, he only rolled an attack, so he goes to bite at you, and it just you duck underneath this monstrous head.
Perfect.
You can feel the heat from its mouth as it crosses over your head.
Icky. Okay. Then I will blast it with my Eldritch Ballista.
Okay.
So, please work. Please. 10. Wait, plus the 7, 17.
17 hits.
Okay. Huh. So that is 9 points of damage.
Okay. It's still up.
Okay.
This thing is beefy.
Okay. That's fine. And Farzan is still grappled?
Yes.
Okay. That will be my turn.
Okay. Tarzan is going to it's a con save. His eyes start to glow a sickening color as he releases a spell, a 4th level spell. It succeeds, but it still takes half damage. I'm just gonna use the digital dice to roll this damage. It's still standing. It's barely holding. You watch as its cracked ashen form gets a little duller and more brittle as it just writhes. And is going to, because it's writhing in pain, crush its grappled target, which it's not even a roll. It just says crush. There's nothing to save from this, so. It squeezes. And Farzan is not looking good at all as it is being squeezed within the grip of this snake. And it just turns its attention back to Farzan. That is the end of the snake's turn. Tavor has gotten off the map, I'll say. We'll just remove him. It is your turn.
All right. Okay.
So like technically it has multi-attack, so technically it can attack Farzan with a bite. No, it would have missed.
Yay.
It would have missed. Because otherwise I've been really bad for Farzan.
Good Lord. God, why do I have so many like touch spells? Oh, that's what, okay. God. All the healing spells are touch related, so I can't even help this guy. Okay, we're gonna cast Shatter again.
Okay. Do you have to be in touch range?
No, it's like a 60 feet range.
Okay.
It's a con save.
Is it going to affect Farzan in his grip? Or is it just one? Is it just one creature? Is it an AoE or is it just?
No, okay. It's a whole radius thing.
Can you single out? Well, no, you'd have to have spell sculptor or be a spell sculptor. You can still do it.
It's a thing. Like all like, why are there so many spells that do that? Like each creature has to do that. Like I don't want to get my party involved in this.
Because that's the risk of spell casting.
Ew, it's gross. I don't even know, man. Gosh. I'm gonna throw a dart at him.
Okay.
I'm
Roll
gonna
an attack.
throw a dart.
You back up. You're looking and you're like, roll an attack roll.
No, that misses.
What was your roll? I didn't see it.
It's a nat 1 plus 6.
It goes flying.
Yeah.
You still have a bonus action.
Yeah. We'll just keep Eldritch cannoning as a bonus action. Yeah. So that whatever that is plus a 7. Let's see what that is. Oh. 18 plus 7. Does that hit?
Yeah, it hits. Yeah, it definitely hits.
Perfect. When all else fails, I have my Eldritch Cannon bonus action. 9 points of damage.
How would you like to destroy this thing? It had exactly 9 hit points.
Stop! Oh my god. Okay. So I throw the dart and it just goes whizzing. And I'm like, Emerald! And she pokes out to my head. I don't think the Eldritch Cannon can like cock like a gun, but just imagine you hear a little and it just starts.
I want to say that because Emerald has spent time with you and Zinzi's, Emerald makes the sound with like one of the gears in the jaw just because Emerald is used to hearing it. And then just lights the cannon because you went with the Chinese firework design.
Yeah.
It just is.
So it goes flying right to the face.
Amazing. It is bearing down on Farzan. It is about to just eat him. And you hear this, you go, Emerald, and you hear and it wallops the side of its head hard enough that you see it starts to just crack and decay, and it just floats away into dust and ash and disappears.
Oh my god.
Your mic got real quiet all of a sudden.
Did it?
Oh no, now it's back to normal. Okay.
No, I just got really quiet.
Okay. I just heard a very muffled, oh my god.
It was like in the back of my throat. Oh my god. Oh Lord. Okay, I'm immediately running over to my buddy.
Yeah, Farzan, and it lets out a shriek as it falls, and Farzan just kind of falls backwards. He is looking rough.
Okay.
Real rough.
Naturally.
And you go over to him. Are you doing anything or?
Casting Cure Wounds.
All right. Roll for Cure Wounds.
I have to like press a certain part of the button. It's a little annoying. Okay, that's 6 points of healing.
That's nice. As you're doing that, he's also, the ground seems to go back to normal. And it takes him, you watch as he's muttering to himself in a small little, it looks like a light sprite, but he casts Healing Spirit, which offers, it's a concentration, it's a nature spirit to soothe the wounded. It appears in a space of that's 5 foot cube within range that it can see. And he heals himself
Naturally.
for one of these because it's 10 rounds that this happens.
Mm.
And each time it's a d6. While this is 10 minutes is going on, you're able to talk, and he does heal you as well. And Tavor has heard the cracking disappearing and is now like running back to the group very I did what you told me. Oh, what was that thing? He's terrified and injured.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll cast Cure Wounds for Tavor as well.
Okay.
I'm just doing first level, so like nothing crazy.
When the spirit comes over you, you take 7 points of healing as well.
Ah, yay! Thank you. And Tavor gets 6 points of healing.
So that was 4. You said 6 points for Tavor?
Yeah.
Okay. He's looking pretty good now. He still has like a little bit of scorch, but he's barely missing hit points.
That's okay. How's Farzan looking right now?
He's healing himself still. He's slowly coming back to. That was a good one. And then you get one more as well. You get an additional 4.
Yay.
He's rough, as in he's about half, but he's functioning. He's not gonna keel over.
Okay.
And as the spirit is going around and you guys are talking, is there anything that you want to say?
What do you say when you've been attacked by fire snakes? Yeah, sure. Okay, so say something like, I can definitely see why the people who kidnapped me were so hesitant about me wanting to come back here.
Farzan looks towards the hole and then looks towards both of you. I don't think that thing was full grown. This must be reported soon.
Do we know anyone with enough dynamite to throw down the hole?
I don't know how that would help as it came out of the ground, not from that hole, but creating a whole new one. I think it's time we return to Mossenge and make our report. And perhaps afterwards, the two of you might make a report of another. I do not know. We must report this to Mossenge and see what. Yes.
Yes, indeed. She's gonna flop on the ground. Like, oh, how am I ever going to get through this place if there's giant fire snakes everywhere?
Over the next.
Oh, my ear just went out.
Oh,
fun.
That's always fun.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Over the next week or so, you 3, still limping along, make your way back towards Mossenge. Make your report. And after a time, a letter comes to you, Chang'e, summoning you back to the Alderheart, back to the council, to report on what it is that you saw in the Scorched Grove. By the end of the month, you must return. And to avoid panic, not bring it up to any other travelers you might see along the way.
Okay. I just fought against a fire snake and a giant ashen snake, but no, can't talk that out with my therapist. No, I gotta battle that down, keep it to myself.
Merely to prevent panic from any other humble folk in the area. If you start saying giant fire snakes to large crowds, it might freak some people out. Obviously, other tenders are aware, but you have in fact been summoned before the council.
Okay.
And we will pick it up there as you return towards the Alderheart. We will pick it up there the next time we play.
Yay! Oh man! Aw, that was cute. I like that. I like my tender friends. I like this group. They're nice. Oh.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoy playing.
I did.
I hope anyone who watches this as soon as I post them enjoys the show. And we will be seeing you again shortly on Twitch and on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.